Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, looks like no one was giving class, so I just kind of impromptu stepped in. So, apologies for any disappointments in advance. Hare Krishna. So we'll sing Jai Radha Madhava and then try to study Bhagavatam. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravana Chari Yamuna Tiravana Chari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kalachanji Radha Kalachanji Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Radha Kalachan Ji ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshantarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we're reading from Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, which is entitled The Signs of God, and we are on chapter 9, which is titled Prahlad Pacifies the Lord with Prayers. So we will be 7, 9, and then we will start at 29. And I think the verses for today go on until 38. A lot of good verses. 7, 9, 29. Okay. Focus verses 38. Let's see if we can get to 38. Each verse is like so much nectar. Okay, 29. Mat prana rakshanam anantapitur vadascha manye svabhritya rishivakyamritam vidhatum khadgam pragrihya yat avochadasad vidistus tvam ishvaro mataparo avatu kham harami. Translation and purports by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So translation. So these are prayers that Prahlad Maharaj is offering to Lord Nrsingadev to pacify him, because the Lord is extremely angry, and after the prayers by the different demigods, the Lord was still very, very unhappy. He was still very angry. So Lord Brahma, he pushes Prahlad Maharaj forward to offer, so that Prahlad Maharaj can offer prayers, because the Lord actually came for Prahlad Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada says it was like pushing a young boy into the cave of a lion's den. So Lord Nrsingadev, he was so ferocious that just by his roar, Even the people in the heavenly planets were struck with wonder and fear. That was his transcendental roar. So now Prahlad Maharaj is, he's offered a set of wonderful prayers, and we're going to continue reading those prayers here. So translation for this verse: My Lord, O unlimited reservoir of transcendental qualities, you have killed my father, Hiranyakashipu, and saved me from his sword. He has said very angrily, if there is any supreme controller other than me, let him save you. I shall now sever your head from your body. Therefore, I think that both in saving me and in killing him, you have acted just to prove true the words of your devotee. There is no other cause. Purport. Samoham sarva, in the Bhagavad Gita 9.29, the Lord says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshostina priyaha ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is undoubtedly equal to everyone. He has no friend and no enemy. But as one desires benefits from the Lord is pleased to award him. The lower and higher positions of different living entities are due to their desires, for the Lord, being equal to all, fulfills everyone's desires. The killing of Hiranyakashipu and saving of Prahlad Maharaj also strictly followed this law of the Supreme Controller's activities. When Prahlad's mother, Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadu, was under the protection of Narada, she prayed for the protection of her son from the enemy, and Narada Muni gave assurance that Prahlad Maharaj would always be saved from the enemy's hands. Thus, when Hiranyakashipu was going to kill Prahlad Maharaj, the Lord saved Prahlad to fulfill his promise in Bhagavad Gita, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati, and to prove the words of Narada. The Lord can fulfill many purposes through one's action. Thus, the killing of Hiranyakashipu and the saving of Prahlad were enacted simultaneously to prove the truthfulness of the Lord's devotee and the fidelity of the Lord himself to his own purpose. The Lord acts only to satisfy the desires of his devotees. Otherwise, he has nothing to do. As confirmed in the Vedic language, Natasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. The Lord has nothing to do personally, for everything is The Lord has nothing to do personally, for everything is done through his different potencies. Parasya Shaktir Vividaiva Shruyate. The Lord has multifarious energies through which everything is done. Thus, when he personally does something, it is only to satisfy his devotee. The Lord is known as Bhakta Vatsala because he very much favors his devoted servant. Each verse is a class. Prabhupada gives so many brilliant points in just one purport. Anyone heard anything that stuck in this purport? Did anyone hear anything that was read, that resonated? Maybe we can get a mic. Govinda, can you get a mic from? Why don't you say and I can repeat for now until the... Yes. Yeah.
In the angry form is because Prahlad wanted to see his Rupa as with anger, is it?
The Lord is Swarat. One of the qualities of the Lord is Swarat. He is completely independent. He can do whatever he wants. We have to understand and accept that. So, the Lord, he doesn't care when the demons say anything about him. But when the demons trouble his devotees, then the Lord cannot tolerate. And it is mentioned, Anugrahaya Bhaktana Manushim Tanumashrita, that the Lord, Krishna, he descends in a Manushya Rupa for Anugrahaya Bhaktana, for benedicting his devotees. In the same way, the avatars of the Lord, whether they are Leela avatars, Purusha avatars, Manvantara avatars, Shaktavesha avatars, ityadi, they all come for this one purpose, Paritranaya Sadhunam, right? To protect the devotees. And the Lord can come in any manner he wants. And as far as your question is concerned, the Lord had a desire to fight. And obviously, in Vaikuntha there is no one to fight because everyone's a devotee. So, and who can fight with the Lord except a devotee? So he sends his associates Jay and Vijay so that the Lord can fulfill his desire to fight. Is that okay? Okay. Text number 30. My dear Lord, you alone manifest yourself as the entire cosmic manifestation, for you existed before the creation. You exist after the annihilation, and you are the maintainer between the beginning and the end. All this is done by your external energy through actions and reactions of the modes of material nature. Therefore, whatever exists externally and internally is you alone. As stated, purport, as stated in the Brahma Samhita 5.35, Eko Pyasaurachayitum Jagadanda Kotim Yakshak Sthirasti Jagadanda Chayayadanta Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the personality of Godhead Govinda, who, by one of his plenary portions, enters the existence of every universe and every atomic particle, and thus unlimitedly manifests his infinite energy all over the material creation. So which particular aspect of Govinda is being discussed here? Which incarnation? This is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu incarnation. So I'm asking these questions so that you don't have to sleep in class, but I generally fall asleep. So to create this cosmic manifestation, Govinda, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, expands his external energy and thus enters everything in the universe, including the atomic particles. In this way, he exists in the entire cosmic manifestation. So, which manifestation is Srila Prabhupada talking about here now? He enters within everything, including the atomic particles. This is the Kshirodakshaya Vishnu. Yes. Yes, the Paramatma feature of the Lord also. In this way, he exists in the entire cosmic manifestation. Therefore, the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in maintaining his devotees are transcendental, not material. So, one of the 10 aspects of the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam is Poshanam. Poshanam is also maintenance, right? So, this activity of the Lord is transcendental as described here by Srila Prabhupada. He exists in everything as the cause and effect, yet he is separate, existing beyond this cosmic manifestation. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 9.4. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham teshva avastita. The entire cosmic manifestation is but an expansion of the Lord's energy. Everything rests in him, yet he exists separately, beyond creation, maintenance, and annihilation. The varieties of creation are performed by his external energy. Because the energy and energetic are one, everything is one. Sarvam kalau idam Brahma. Therefore, without Krishna, the Parabrahman, nothing can exist. The difference between the material and spiritual worlds is that his external energy is manifested in the material world, whereas his spiritual energy exists in the spiritual world. Both energies, however, belong to the Supreme Lord, and therefore, in a higher sense, there is no exhibition of material energy because everything is spiritual energy. The energy in which the Lord's all-pervasiveness is not realized is called material. Otherwise, everything is spiritual. Therefore, Prahlad prays, Ekastvam eva jagatayitam, you are everything. What did you hear in this purport? Anything you heard that resonated? Use the mic, please. It's in front of you. So, did you hear anything?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So the difference between the material energy and the spiritual energy. So are we talking about Maya and then spiritual energy here? So if we don't realize, like, you know, the Lord's pervasiveness, then it is Maya. If not, it's all spiritual.
Okay.
That's what I understood.
Okay. Well, that's a good start. Very good. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna describes this phenomena. He says, Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiyame bhinna prakritirashta. They are my bhinna or separated material energies. And what does it mean separated? By studying the material energies of the Lord, one cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why they are separated. Means the Lord is not pervasive by which you can study. But in the Chintamani Dham, in the spiritual world, everything that you study of the Dham helps you become closer to Krishna. But of course, Krishna is so merciful that he also manifests his vibhutis, his opulences in the material world, so that the living entity, by studying these vibhutis, can also try to understand the jiva. There is a chapter in the Bhagavatam called the description of the autumn season. I believe it's chapter 40. And in the 10th canto, there Srila Prabhupada, he gives, there is a book actually that Srila Prabhupada wrote on this particular chapter called The Light of the Bhagavat, where one can realize the Supreme Lord's magnanimity and opulence, majesty and greatness just by studying the autumn season in the land of Vrindavan, right? So, here Srila Prabhupada is re-emphasizing, right? Both energies belong to the Supreme Lord, and therefore in a higher sense there is no exhibition of material energy because everything is spiritual energy. And that is why Prahlad Maharaj, he's saying Ekastvam eva jagat etam. So the pure devotee, when he sees, so it is described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sthavara Jangama deke na deke taramurti sarvatra haya deke ishta deve spurti. That when the pure devotee, he sees anything which is Sthavara or Jangama, anything which is moving or non-moving, he doesn't see that. Na deke, what? Sarvatra haya deke ishta deve spurti. Everywhere he sees Krishna. So that is why Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Ekastvam ega jagat etam. Everything is yours, energy. Right, like that. That is how we're supposed to understand this. Good point. Text 31. Translation. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, the entire cosmic creation is caused by you, and the cosmic manifestation is an effect of your energy. Although the entire cosmos is but you alone, you keep yourself aloof from it. The conception of mine and yours is certainly a type of illusion, Maya. Because everything is an emanation from you and is therefore non-different from you. Indeed, the cosmic manifestation is non-different from you and the annihilation is also caused by you. This relationship between your lordship and the cosmos is illustrated by the example of the seed and the tree, or the subtle cause and the gross manifestation. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 7.10, the Lord says, Bijamam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam. O son of Pritha, know that I am the original seed of all existences. In the Vedic literature, it is said, Ishavashyamidam sarvam yato vai imani bhuyate bhutani jayante and sarva khalau idam brahma. So these are all, these three statements are from the Vedanta Sutra, the first, second, third and fourth. All this Vedic information indicates that there is only one God and there is nothing else but Him. The Mayavadi philosophers explain this in their own way, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead asserts the truth that He is everything and yet is separate from everything. This is the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is called Achintya Bheda Aveda Tattva. Everything is one, the Supreme Lord, yet everything is separate from the Lord. This is the understanding of oneness and difference. The example given in this regard, Vasu Kalavad Asti Taravo, is very easy to understand. Everything exists in time, yet there are different phases of the time factor, past, present and future. Present, past and future are one. Every day we can experience the time factor as morning, noon and evening. And although morning is different from the noon, which is different from evening, all of them taken together are one. The time factor is the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the Lord is separate from the time factor. Everything is created, maintained and annihilated by time. But the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, has no beginning and no end. He is Nitya Shashvata, eternal, permanent. Everything passes through time's phases of present, past and future. Yet the Lord is always the same. And thus there is undoubtedly a difference between the Lord and the cosmic manifestation. But actually they are non-different. Accepting them to be different is called avidya, ignorance. Anyone remember a verse on this from the Isopanishad? So there is a verse in the Isopanishad that explains this phenomena as the student is trying to study this. Vidyam cha yastad vedo bhayam saha avidyayam mrityam tirtva vidyayam mritam ashnute. So one must study the process of nescience and that of transcendental knowledge side by side to receive the full blessings of immortality. So I'll continue on the purport. True oneness, however, is not equivalent to the conception of the Mayavadis. The true understanding is that the differences are manifested by the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The seed is manifested as a tree which displays varieties in its trunk, branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has therefore sung, Keshava Tuya Jagata Vichitra, my dear Lord, your creation is full of varieties. The varieties are one and at the same time different. This is the philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. The conclusion given in Brahma Samhita is this. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful, spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. Because the Lord is the supreme cause, everything is one with him, but when we consider varieties, we find that one thing is different from another. We may conclude, therefore, that there is no difference between one thing and another, yet in varieties there are differences. In this regard, Madhvacharya gives an example concerning a tree and a tree in fire. Both trees are same, but they look different because of the time factor. The time factor is under the control of the Lord, and therefore the Supreme Lord is different from time. An advanced devotee consequently does not distinguish between happiness and distress. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.8, Tattenukampam susamikshamano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam. When a devotee is in a condition of so-called distress, he considers it a gift or blessing from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the devotee is always thus situated in Krishna consciousness, in any condition of life, he is described as Mukti Pade Sadaya Bhag, a perfect candidate for returning home back to Godhead. The word Daya Bhag means inheritance. A son inherits the property of his father. Similarly, when the devotee is fully Krishna conscious, undisturbed by dualities, he is sure that he will return home back to Godhead, just as one inherits his father's property. What did you hear in this purport? Any one point? What did you hear in this purport? Again, maybe. Yes, go ahead, Mataji. Yes, speak in the mic. Dead?
He was in the purport. Prabhupada was giving the example of the time factor to explain the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva.
Time factor to explain Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, yes. So
Like
what
how-
was the example given
So
of?
how the morning, evening,
Yes.
daytime, they're morning is different from noon, is different from night, but at the same time, you
They
can
are
see
non-different.
The whole thing is time, and how time is Krishna's energy, but he's separate from
Yes.
his time factor.
Another name of Krishna is Kaladisha. He is the controller of time. Yes, very good. Okay. So we're going to continue reading, and I'm going to be asking questions. So no chance for sleeping today. Sorry. Text 32. Anyone else wants to share anything that they heard in text 31 purport? A tree and the fire.
There was an example that was mentioned that concerning a tree and a tree in fire. Both trees are the same, but they look different because of the time factor.
Yes.
That was interesting.
One is still, living its stage in maintenance. The other is in that stage of destruction. But they're still trees. They're the same and not the same. Very good. Text 32. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, after the inhalation, the creative energy is kept in you, who appear to sleep with half-closed eyes. Who's being discussed here? Without looking at the full purport, come on. Huh? Very good. Karano Dakshaya Vishnu. Actually, however, you do not sleep like an ordinary human being, for you are always in a transcendental stage, beyond the creation of the material world, and you always feel transcendental bliss. As Karano Dakshaya Vishnu, you thus remain in your transcendental status, not touching material objects. Although you appear to sleep, this sleeping is distinct from sleeping in ignorance. Purport. As explained very clearly in the Brahma Samhita 5.47, Yah karanarnava jale bhajati sma yoga Nidramananta Jagadanda Saromakupa Adara Shaktimavalamya Param Swamurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who lies down in the causal ocean in his plenary portion as Mahavishnu, with all the universes generating from the pores of hair on his transcendental body, and who accepts the mystic slumber of eternity. The Adi Purusha, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Govinda, expands himself as Mahavishnu. After the annihilation of this cosmic manifestation, he keeps himself in transcendental bliss. The word Yoga Nidra is used in reference to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should understand that this Nidra or sleep is not like our Nidra in the mode of ignorance. The Lord is always situated in transcendence. He is Sachidananda Vigraha, eternally in bliss, and thus he is not disturbed by sleep like ordinary human beings. It should be understood that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in transcendental bliss in all stages. Srila Madhvacharya concisely states that the Lord is Turyastitaha, always situated in transcendence. In transcendence, there is no such thing as Jagarana Nidra Shushupti, wakefulness, sleep, and deep sleep. The practice of yoga is similar to the Yoga Nidra of Mahavishnu. Yogis are advised to keep their eyes half closed, but this state is not at all one of sleep, although imitation yogis, especially in the modern age, manifest their so-called yoga by sleeping. In the Shastra, yoga is described as Dhyanavastita, a state of full meditation. But this is meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa. Keep going. What is Pashyanti? Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa. The mind should always be situated at the lotus feet of the Lord. Yoga practice does not mean sleeping. The mind should always be actively fixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. Then one's practice of yoga will be successful. So this phenomena is described in the 6th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where the yogi, he is supposed to focus his attention at the tip of the nose. So if you try to look at the tip of your nose, and you look at someone's eyes who's focused at the tip of the nose, the eyes will automatically be half closed, right? And this is done so that if you keep your eyes open, then, there are so many distractions from the senses, right? The sense of vision, you will see so many distractions. And if you keep your eyes closed, then Srila Prabhupada says here is, they will go into Nidra, sleep, right? And that is the state of the modern age of yogis, is they practice so-called meditation, but most of the time with their eyes closed, they're snoring. And so this is the recommended practice in a different age, right? And this is the age of Krita Yoga or Satya Yoga, where the Shastras describe Kriteya Dhyayato Vishnu. In the Krita Yoga, one must meditate on or perform, worship the Lord through dhyana by meditation. And if you see the process of Krishna consciousness, we also have, an anga of bhakti called dhyana, right? So this dhyana is non-different from smarana, and this is described in the 3rd canto by Kapila Muni, by Lord Kapila to his mother Devahuti, on how all the processes described in all the other are also included in bhakti. And by doing bhakti yoga, you perform all the other processes. So this stage of constantly remembering the Lord is very, very powerful. Lord Kapila, he teaches this. Shrinvatam Shraddhaya Nityam Grinantastvachestitam Kalena Nati Tirkena Bhagavan Hrishate Hridi. So one must try to remember the Lord constantly. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Grinanti Swacheshtitam. That one must listen to the activities of the Lord constantly. One must remember the activities of the Lord constantly. And kalena na ati dhirgena. And by doing so, what happens? Ati dhirgena. Very quickly, Bhagavan Hridate Bhagavan Hridate Rishi. That the Lord, He becomes situated within the core of one's heart. So that process is what is recommended by Lord Kapila. Unlike in the mechanical process of dhyana yoga, where one has to force themselves to keep the external sense objects away, and one has to mechanically force oneself to practice meditation, versus the practice of bhakti yoga. By doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, automatically the Lord becomes situated within the core of one's heart. Right? So this is what is being described here. That Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Srila Prabhupada is saying in the purport, that by remembering the Lord, one can become properly situated in transcendental bliss in all stages. Okay, next 33. Maybe we'll just go until 8:30, and then I guess the next speakers will carry on from the next set of verses. We can't do all the verses, there are too many. Text 33. This cosmic manifestation, the material world, is also your body. The total lump of matter is agitated by a potent energy known as Kala Shakti, and thus the three modes of material nature are manifested. You awaken from the bed of Sesha, Ananta, and from your navel a small transcendental seed is generated. It is from this seed that the lotus flower of the gigantic universe is manifested, exactly as a banyan tree grows from a small seed. This is now further description of the Kala Shakti. Purport. The three different forms of Mahavishnu, namely Karanodakshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, who are the origin of creation and maintenance, are gradually being described. From Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is generated, and from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu gradually expands. Thus, Mahavishnu is the original cause of Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and from Garbhodakshaya Vishnu comes the lotus flower from which Lord Brahma is manifest. Thus, the original cause of everything is Vishnu, and consequently, the cosmic manifestation is not different from Vishnu. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 10.8, wherein Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is an expansion of Karanodakshaya Vishnu, who is an expansion of Shankarshan. In this way, Krishna is ultimately the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. The conclusion is that both the material world and spiritual world are considered to be the body of the Supreme Lord. We can understand that the material body is caused by the spiritual body and is therefore an expansion of the spiritual body. Thus, when one takes up spiritual activities, one's entire material body is spiritualize. Similarly, in this material world, when the Krishna consciousness movement expands, the entire material world becomes spiritualized. As long as we do not realize this, we live in the material world. But when we are fully Krishna conscious, we live not in the material world, but in the spiritual world. So what did you hear? Expand the movement. Okay, movement, what are we moving? Movement of what? Krishna consciousness movement. We have to expand our consciousness towards Krishna. Okay, very good. Anything else did you hear? Did you hear anything that was read? What did you hear? Use the mic, please. It's all right. Use the mic. No punishments.
From Mahavishnu, Karnodakshay Vishnu, then Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and then Shirodakshay Vishnu.
Are all expansions of Shankarshan, who is an expansion of Krishna? Very good. So, and here, Prabhupada, very good. Thank you, Mataji. I just want to emphasize one particular point. Prabhupada says, thus when one takes up spiritual activities, one's entire material body is spiritualized. Ganga basam buddha fena fankar brahma dravatvam apagachate neera dharmai. Rupa Goswami says that one must not accept the body of a pure devotee even though it has so many material faults as material. Just like the Ganga water may be mixed with muddy bubbles and foam during the rainy season, but still the Ganga is accepted as pure. Similarly, here Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that when one takes up spiritual activities, one's entire material body is spiritualized. Now, this phenomena is described by Sanatan Goswami in his book Hari Bhakti Vilas, where he says, he quotes this, he gives this example, Yata kanchanam yati kamsya rasa vidanataha tata diksha vidanena jayate dvijatvam niranam. So he says that just as bell metal, when mixed with mercury and by the process of a chemical reaction produces gold, in the same way, when the devotee undergoes spiritual initiation, even though externally the body may appear material, we should never consider the body of a devotee to be material. The body of a devotee is worshipable, spiritual. So, in the same way, as one practices Krishna consciousness, one realizes that this body is a yantra which is given to us by the Supreme Lord to be able to facilitate and practice devotional service. And by doing so, by engaging the body in the service of the Lord, the body becomes spiritual. Prabhupada gives this example. He says, as an iron rod which is placed in the fire also accepts the qualities of the fire. In the same way, the material body which is placed in the fire of devotional service also acquires the same properties of spiritual properties. So this is something we have to understand as we practice devotional service, and make sure that we always respect the devotees and we never look at them from a materialistic standpoint, right? The 99% of the problems in this world that come are because people look at each other from a bodily concept of life. And the first principle given in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna to Arjuna is, you are not this body. But we see all the dealings of this material world are based on this bodily concept of life. So it is very important that we learn to cultivate this mindset that when dealing with other devotees or other living entities, that they are parts and parcels of Krishna, and we have to deal with them in such a way that if, depending on their stature, if they are bahirmukha, looking away from Krishna, we can try to somehow bring them closer to Krishna by turning their attention towards the Lord. And if they are if they are devotees, then we make friends with such devotees. And if they are, advanced, then we take their association and we try to serve them. So these are certain instructions given by our previous acharyas on how we can, improve in our Krishna consciousness. Okay, next is 34, but I'm supposed to go until 38, as that is what is the schedule, 39, but it's already 8:33. So I am going to stop here, and I apologize to the organizers that it was an impromptu class. No one was there to give class, so I just sat here. So thank you for tolerating me. Hare Krishna. If there was any other points or anything anyone wants to say, anything anyone heard in the class from the purports?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the things you said the devotees are, we should not see them as
Sorry, can you speak in the mic?
Okay. Their body we should not see as the material, yes. But for me, most of the time, it's very difficult. Sometimes most of the time, as the mind is so going to the wrong things, means the material point of view, I'm seeing them and then I'm trying to find the fault, and the devotees is getting problem for me. I mean, you can give me some tips, maybe I can come out from this. It's always we see, even though devotee is doing a lot of services, but we always see the fault only, and I know.
Yeah. So this is described in the nectar of instruction on how a devotee is supposed to see, right? I quoted that verse. I said, Ganga Basam Budbudak Tatkalu Fena Fankai Brahma Dravatram Apagachata Nira Dharmai. So there are different ways in which one sees and also associates with devotees at different levels. But in general, we've been conditioned, Mataji, since not this life, from many, many lifetimes, where we are only accustomed to seeing the externals. And that is how this entire material world is running on, right? There is no real substance, right? Everything is so superficial. In the 12th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described on the characteristics of the people of this age of Kali, right? Like, beauty, lavanyam kesha dharanam. Your beauty or loveliness is described by your hairstyle. And your greatness is described by how much money you have. So like that, there are these qualities of Kali Yuga which influence us, and one must learn to purify one's intelligence by study of the scripture and discriminate to be able to have that proper vision, and it comes by proper study and practice. It doesn't come just like that. So, but you are on the right path, you are doing the right things, and if you take shelter of Shastra, you take shelter of the Guru, and try to develop and cultivate this vision, right? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So on a daily basis, it is a process of cultivation. So it doesn't happen just like that. So you have to practice, not just you, even I am like that. So, but it takes time. But be patient, right? So that is something I can say. And as far as you might say, oh, I'm thinking negative, but because we are all products of Kali Yuga, the Lord has given some special mercy for the people of Kali Yuga. In the previous yugas, even if you think something, you will get the reaction. Here in Kali Yuga, only if you do something, you will get the reaction. So even there is a lot of discount. So
we have time to change at least. Means we have time to change, even though it comes in the mind, but we can also recorrect. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the same thing, I was thinking about the Dham also. Yes, Prabhu. How we see so much externally to the Dham. When we, especially I never gone to the Dham, but I feel, we see, I heard some people.
I will repeat. Please go ahead.
Just
everything we see from the external point of view.
Even in the Dham also, I'm saying.
Oh, even in the Dham, we see everything from the external point of view. And this is exactly what I was trying to say, is unless and otherwise one's intelligence is purified through the study of Shastra and the association of pure devotees, one will only learn to see based on one's external perception. Right? So even if you go to Vrindavan, oh, what is this? Pigs are roaming here, it's so dirty. People rolling around in the dust. What is this? Right? Like, oh, it's not so clean. You go to some of these, anyway, some other places, everything is so nice, everything is organized. But, as I mentioned, it is, unless and otherwise one learns to see the Dham through one's ears, not through one's eyes, it will be impossible to decipher the greatness of a holy place. And and that's not just applicable for the Dham, that is even applicable for devotees, right? So one should not judge a person based on their physical looks, but based on how they conduct themselves, how they speak, and how they act in Krishna consciousness. So this is a very deep subject, and it takes time, so before trying to judge, one should try to understand. But one of the qualities in Kali Yuga is we are,